So Chris Brown recently brought out his new album 1111. If you haven't checked it out yet, I suggest you pause this video and go listen to a few songs before I even talk about this. I did think this album was fire. There was a lot of fire songs in it. I was vibing the whole time I was listening to it. The best part is that if you didn't listen to some of the production quality in this album, then you kind of missed out. And that's some of the things that I kind of want to point out in this video. He called this album 1111 because he said he was going to have 11 like Afrobeat songs and then like 11 R&B trap, new R&B soul type of songs, which I think he accomplished very well. Sometimes listening to new albums can definitely enhance and improve your production quality if you use it as a reference track. For example, in the first song, Angel's Number / 10 Toes, there's this super nice guitar in the beginning. So when I heard this guitar, I decided to implement my own guitar with my own chords, and it sounded like this. All I did was add a little bit of EQ, use a UAD Pultic plugin, and that was a wrap. Don't necessarily have to make it sound exactly the same while using reference tracks, but the whole point is to get some inspiration from it and then go ahead and make it your own. Check out this other song called Midnight Free. This is the interesting thing about listening to the production quality is that you can't always hear everything in the background because there's vocals, there's drums, there's so many things playing. But if you listen really closely, you can hear an arpeggiated lead in the back. To me, honestly, as a listener and also as a producer, I love to listen to the album first just for pure enjoyment. And then after that, go back and listen to it just for the production quality. And after hearing this arpeggiated lead, I decided to implement my own by using this. I did find this lead in Analog Lab under the lead section. I decided to add an EQ and it was a wrap. And believe it or not, after listening to the song Closer, I really love that other lead that it had right there. And while I was listening to that, I was like, I kind of want to add another lead, even though I already added one previously. So I went into Analog Lab under the lead section, found some leads that I already have as favorites, and then added this lead right here. Like I said before, if it's a good sound, don't manipulate it as much. All I did was add an EQ, filter out the highs and the lows, and it was a wrap. So far, this melody was already kind of coming together off of listening a few songs that I was like kind of inspired by Chris Brown, and I was like, this is coming out pretty nice so far. But I wasn't done yet. After listening to my favorite song in the album, Nightmares, the moment he brought out the single and then listening to the album again and then just seeing how it plays out with the rest of the songs, it just made sense. This song starts off with some nice bells, but more interesting, it has these beautiful pads in the back while the bells are playing. I don't know if it was just reverbed or delayed, but these pads were really making me feel some type of inspiration. So I implemented these pads as well. Another song that stood out to me was Shooter. You could really hear those vocals playing in the background, and if you watch my channel, if you hear my beats, you know that I love using vocal chops. So I did think this melody was already finished when I implemented the pads, but then I heard Shooter and I said, I gotta add some vocals now. So that's what I did, and I added these vocals from Arcade right here. Now for the vocals, I did go a little bit crazy with the plugins. I went ahead and added an EQ. I filtered out all the highs and the lows. Then I went ahead and added an RC20 and just left the noise, the magnetic feel, and the distortion just to give those vocals kind of a vintage feel. Then I added a Pancake 2 and reduced the mix to like 22% just so these vocals can just pan left to right. And the last plugin I added was a Valhalla Vintage Verb, and I used the concert hall option and reduced the mix to about like 28% so these vocals could just be bouncing all over the place with some reverb, and it just sounds beautiful. And after listening to all these songs, I said, okay, that's enough. I cannot add more stuff to this melody. I mean, I could keep going, but I said this is enough because I feel like it's complete already. So then I listened to That's On You featuring Future.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I really like the way these drums are hitting. Then I decided to add like a similar drum pattern to my beat. Started off with a regular rim shot percussion sound, and it sounded like this. And it's hitting every 2 bars. I used a regular hi-hat pattern just playing throughout the whole beat. Decided to use 2 different percussion sounds just to give the beat a little bit more bounce, and it sounds like this. And then I ended it with just using an open hat right before the snare hits. For the 808, I did go ahead and use the Z808 because I just love how this sounds. And honestly, most of those Chris Brown beats have like that Z808 sound. So I decided to just go with that. As for the kick goes, I didn't put the kick in sync with the 808. I wanted to try something different. So the kick's hitting every other time the 808 is not hitting. And it gives it a little bit more space, sounds different, it sounds pretty good. If you're a producer and you're not already doing this, I encourage you guys to start listening to albums or songs with like a different type of ear. I know we all enjoy music, but once you listen to it to get something out of it, like listen to production in the back, listen to the different producers, what they're doing, what they're using, I guarantee you it's going to help and enhance your production quality. So like, let me know if this beat is fire. Let me know if it makes sense, you know, when using references, because to me, it makes total sense. But anyways, guys, this is the final result. This is the final beat. Till next time, stay blessed and stay positive.
Bless those keys, the RMC.